Hey everybody, welcome back to another video by Mr. Lamb.
And Mrs. Lamb.
And we're here today to talk about dividing mixed numbers. Now the last video you watched were on dividing fractions. Now we're just going to expand that a little bit and talk about dividing mixed numbers.
So our learning target is both I can divide mixed numbers
And I betcha,
I can show evidence of my thinking on paper. Because again, so important to do this when you're trying to work through these problems, especially multi-step, and this is so anything with fractions really, but this one for sure.
Yeah, and really that pencil and paper, there just is no replacement for it when it comes to this kind of stuff.
No.
So please, get out that pencil and paper. If you have to, pause the video, go get it.
Yeah, yay. All right, so here's one that's already been done. Would you like to walk through the
Sure,
first one?
I'll walk through the first one. Because it's already done and I don't have to do any work.
Oh.
Okay, so again, this is basically the same thing. We don't divide fractions. But there are some steps we have to take.
Those aren't fractions.
Those are mixed numbers.
Ah.
So just like in multiplying multiplying mixed numbers, we don't multiply these this way. We have to change them to improper fractions.
Okay.
And you got to
Step
do
one.
that before you do anything else.
Change.
So step one, change to improper.
Okay, you go ahead.
So again, we'll just quickly review how to do that. So we're going to multiply these together, and then we're going to add this one. Right? So 6 times 3, 18, plus 2, 20. That's where the 20 came from. And then the denominator stays the same. Then we just kind of ignore the fact that that division symbol is there, and we do the same thing. We multiply, then we add. So 3 times 1, 3, plus 1, 4. That's where they came from. Now, this is just multiplying fractions, which we already know how to do.
KCF.
We're going to KCF it. So when we KCF it, that means we're going to KCF, and we already know that stands for keep, change, flip. So we keep this the same, we change that to multiplication, and we find the reciprocal, or flip this. And then we do what I like to do best. We reduce before we multiply. So the 4 and the 20, both divisible by 4. So that's where the 1 and the 5 came from. The 3 and the 3, we already know. 3 and 3, both divisible by 3. That just becomes a 1 and a 1. So it's 5 times 1. 1 times 1, 5 over 1, or 5. Okay? So it basically is, just to review quickly, because I know I went through pretty quick, it's change it to improper, KCF it.
Rewrite it by KCF.
Then reduce, then multiply.
Multiply it, and make sure you have a simple answer in lowest terms. And this is in lowest terms because it's
a whole number.
All right, now we're going to make up some questions off the top of our head. So these may be a little bit like, I don't know. They may work out pretty, they may not.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me get you a pen.
Okay.
How about black?
All right. I'm going to do 2 1/2, and I'm going to divide it by 4 1/3. All right. So my first step, and I write mine a little different. I put a C for convert. There's my converting symbol. And again, I'm kind of like one of those
Lots of different ways to do the
I'm one
same
of those weird teachers who does everything going down. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5 over 2, because the denominator stays the same. I'm going to keep it division, because right now I'm only converting. 3 times 4
that's step 1.
3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13, and then over 3. Now I'm going to KCF 5 over 2 times, I got to flip this around, 13's on top, now 13 has to be on the bottom, 3 is on the bottom, now 3 has to be on the top. Now I'm going to look for cross canceling, and weirdly enough, every single one of those numbers is a prime number. I know my prime numbers. I didn't plan this, but it just so happens that they're prime. So
which means if they're all prime numbers, they only have 2 numbers that will divide into them, right?
Yeah.
One in themselves.
Right.
So since none of them are the same, we can't reduce it.
So 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 13 is 26. And with 100% confidence, because I know my prime numbers, this is in lowest terms.
Just remember, if you can't reduce here, you can't reduce there.
And I know that, like I said, prime numbers, knowing your first 10 prime numbers is so important.
Yeah, okay, so now we'll just do one more.
Yep.
Right? And this time I'm just going to pick some numbers at random. I like easy numbers. Let's just go 1 1/4. Right? And we'll go divided by 2 1/5. Okay, so 1 1/4. They all love to just make fun of how I write. Okay, so anyway, so now we're going to change this over to improper fractions. And again, it's just 4 times 1 plus 1 is 5. So that's 5/4. And I like to go sideways.
That's okay.
Okay, divided by, because that doesn't change, because all we're doing is changing this now to improper fractions. 5 times 2, 10, plus 1, 11. So 11/5. Now here's where students can get into trouble. As soon as you see this 5 and the 5, people want to go ahead and start reducing. You can't reduce yet. You have to first rewrite this, because we're going to KCF it. Right? So we're going to keep this the same, 5/4. We're going to change that to multiplication. That's a terrible multiplication symbol, but we don't care.
There you go.
And then this is going to be 5/11.
Oh.
Yeah, so now see, if you had reduced earlier, you'd be in trouble now.
And you can't reduce side
Can't reduce, it has to be something from the top, something from the bottom.
Alright.
So now we're just going to multiply this out. Well, that's 5 times 5 is 25. You can go ahead and write that for me.
Okay. Did we look for cross canceling?
We did. There's nothing that's going to cancel.
Okay.
And then 4 times 11, 44. Odd number, even number doesn't mean it can't be reduced, but if I can't reduce here, I can't reduce here.
Number neighbors.
Yep.
Both prime. Yep.
Yes, there we go. 25/44. You guys have, well, let's put it on the screen, I guess, before we tell them to have a good day. Because it's never going to, there we go.
Ooh.
So now, if you're confused, there are a couple more examples that have been done for you in another video if you want to use that. But if you kind of got it, and really the only way to do these is to work your way through them.
Write them out.
Yeah, write them out.
Take the time to write those 5
Okay, we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.